Sounds this good? Just imagine how it tastes. Oh yeah, so good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Midway Trailers is now Rodock. Same great family-owned company with the same great service and staff. You'll find a trailer and quality brand for every need. When you need to haul, give Rodock a call. Visit Rodock.com. That's RODOC.com.
Whatever the weather outside, stay comfortable inside with Tanner Heating and Air Conditioning, where quality and comfort matter the most. Our cost-effective systems for your home or office and planned service will save you some bucks. Bucks. That's right, Sarah bucks. That will keep your wallet happy. Tanner Heating and Air Conditioning, a reliable local family-owned company that always produces great results. This is Sarah Tanner. Call 299-2500 or go to TannerHVAC.com to schedule today. Tanner Heating and Air Conditioning, a name you can trust.
This is the legendary WHIO, the king of sports in Ohio. We've got the biggest sports teams and leagues on both radio and TV. This year, we're proud to be the home of NFL with Cincinnati Bengals football on Channel 7. The Southwest Ohio home of the Cleveland Browns on WHIO Radio. The biggest Big Ten games during the season every Saturday, including Ohio State football. The CBS NFL Game of the Week. The home of University of Dayton basketball and football. The Touchdown 7 high school football games of the week. The Dayton home of March Madness, the Masters, and PGA Championship. When it comes to the absolute biggest sports brands, WHIO Radio and Television is the king of Dayton sports. WHIO, Dayton's news, talk, and sports station. Dayton's only all-local news radio station. The power of WHIO Radio and News Center 7 means you'll know first. This is Miami Valley's Morning News on WHIO.
Good morning, and thanks for listening to Miami Valley's Morning News. I'm Brittany Otto. PlayStation Lifestyle says Costco and select GameStop stores have gotten in new Nintendo Switch 2 game consoles. The restock comes just weeks after the consoles sold out. 65 degrees right now in Dayton at 6:25.
Yeah, it's 25 minutes here after 6 o'clock. I'm Jeremy Ratliff. A continuing coverage of our top local story today. Some of our hottest temperatures of the year are expected this weekend, and cooling centers across Montgomery County are set to open.
Storm Center 7 says we'll see highs in the low 90s with a heat index over 100 degrees. The Greater Dayton, Lowry, and Northwest Recreation Centers will be open Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
That is WHIO's Ian James reporting. And for a full list of centers across our area, you can visit WHIO.com. Here's the WHIO Impact Story, which means we go in-depth on a major story every hour. They are what travelers don't want to bring home from their travels. These U.S. cities where bed bugs are most likely to be found.
Pest control company Terminix finds Philadelphia for the second straight year ranks highest among cities where bed bugs are found. New York, Cleveland, and Akron, Ohio, L.A., and Dallas-Fort Worth round out the top 5. Factors that contribute to the infestations can include humid climate, housing trends, and location. Cities that are travel hubs are often where bed bugs can be found. Travelers are urged to inspect hotel rooms and mattresses when you check in. If you do find them, clothes dryers and garment steamers at their hottest settings can kill the bugs and their eggs.
That is Fox's Colonel Scott reporting.
This is WHIO Continuing News.
A surprising discovery made while workers were cleaning under machinery at an Ohio manufacturing plant.
A litter of kittens was found under a machine at Phillips Manufacturing, according to WKNB-TV. Forever and After Cat Sanctuary said on social media that 3 kittens have already passed away, likely due to the extreme heat inside the plant. However, 1 survived. The sanctuary added that there was no sign of a mother. The kitten is recovering.
That is WHIO's Rich Jones. WHIO News Time is 6:27.
And you can always save more, spend less, avoid getting ripped off. You can do that with the help of Dayton's own consumer warrior, Clark Howard. Clark has advice for you anytime. Just go to his website, clark.com. Here's this morning's Clark tip.
If you or a family member or friend ends up with a medical diagnosis, what do you do first? You want to be an informed patient, right? You want to know everything you can about what you've been tentatively diagnosed with. So you go to Dr. Google. You go do a Google search. And a lot of what you're going to find is going to be a bunch of junk. And I can tell you from my own experience, if you want to find the best information, you need to dig deep in reading the medical journals that doctors read. The New England Journal of Medicine, the Journal of the American Medical Association, the British journal Lancet. I found this to be so helpful to me when I was diagnosed with cancer 17 years ago. And what I found out changed the course of my treatment and my life. This is Clark Howard.
Did you know that even when counties soften the water they supply to customers like you, the water is still considered quite hard? Enting Water Conditioning can solve that with premium American-made and Dayton-assembled water softeners. Visit enting.com, ENTING.com.
I'm Ron Otto with My Sports Rundown. My opinion on the big stories in sports. The Colorado Rockies recently swept the Miami Marlins on the road in a 3-game series. Now, that's a big deal because it was the Rockies' first series win since last year. They're on pace to surpass last year's Chicago White Sox, who passed the 61 Mets as the worst in the modern era, losing 121 games. But doesn't it seem like the bad teams now are worse than they've ever been? 3 teams lost at least 100 games in 2022. 4 teams lost 100-plus in 23, and we know about the notorious White Sox last year. But let's go back to 1996. Only 1 team lost 100 games, the Detroit Tigers, and no teams won 100. There are benefits to tanking for a season, or 10 if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates, but despite luxury taxes, compensatory draft picks, and revenue sharing, it looks like the gap between the haves and the have-nots in MLB is only getting bigger. I'm Ron Otto, and that's my Sports Rundown.
What is the WHIO Storm Center? It means when you hear these tones, you are just a few minutes away from emergency weather information. Weather is our #1 priority. The Storm Center 7 forecast is always on the radio. 1290 and 95.7 WHIO. And when News Center 7 is in wall-to-wall weather coverage mode, you'll always hear it simulcast on WHIO radio. That means you can take your radio to your safe spot and hear exactly what's happening with severe weather. When it comes to weather, we don't mess around. This is the station Dayton turns to first for live team coverage of breaking news. WHIO Dayton Springfield, celebrating 90 years of being Dayton's news and talk station. Depend on it.
Good morning. It is 6:30. It is Friday, June 20th. I'm Brittany Otto on Miami Valley's Morning News with the 3 big things that you need to know today. Some clouds mixed with sunshine, warming back up, highs climbing to the middle 80s. A reported anti-Semitic attack on an Ohio congressman. And it is our top local story. Prepare for hot temps for days here in the Miami Valley.
That's right, Brittany. And we are talking about dangerously hot temperatures. Storm Center 7 weather specialist Nick Dunn continues our team coverage.
With the hottest temperatures of the season upon us, it's going to be really important that we practice those heat safety reminders. Just a few tips for you. Make sure you're drinking lots of water if you have to be outside. Wear lightweight, loose-fitting clothing. And if you can, try to take some breaks in the shade or air conditioner. And of course, don't forget to check on your pets, your loved ones, and your neighbors as well.
Yeah, meanwhile, today marks the longest stretch of daylight in 2025 and the first day of what's already looking to be a hot summer season. Fox's Jeff Manasso reports.
The first day of summer is when the sun stays out the longest. It's happening today with the sun at its northernmost point with around 15 hours of sunlight, according to the Farmer's Almanac for the northern half of the globe, officially kicking off the summer solstice with pools and beaches likely in high demand as a heat wave moves in this weekend into next week for millions of Americans across the country, including triple-digit temperatures expected, along with heat warnings across the East Coast's I-95 corridor.
Yeah, locally, the National Weather Service has issued an extreme heat watch for much of the region Sunday afternoon through Tuesday evening. Of course, we're going to continue to provide updated weather reports for you in the hours and days ahead right here on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO.
Our first 90-degree days of the season are upon us here in the Miami Valley. How long will it last? I'm weather specialist Nick Dunn, and my full forecast is coming up.
Right now, I'm not seeing any accidents or delays for the morning drive. With traffic every 10 minutes, I'm Jake Magnotta, WHIO Triple Team Traffic.
This is Miami Valley's morning news on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO. I'm Brittany Otto.
Yeah, hot outside. I'm Jeremy Ratliff. The Air Force Thunderbirds soar into Dayton.
The jet team will be part of the 50th Air Show that takes place over the weekend. The Thunderbirds show is a mix of 6 aircrafts performing formation flying and solo routines. The show begins Friday night with a flight test and will continue Saturday and Sunday afternoon.
That is WHIO's Ian James reporting. Anew this morning, a woman called 911 saying she saw somebody stab a man in a wheelchair yesterday afternoon.
This happened at a senior living facility on Huffman Avenue, and she knew the victim.
He was stabbed in the arm. He was sliced across.
That man went to the hospital.
That is News Center 7's James Brown. No word yet on any arrests. Firefighters had to battle weather as a fire destroyed a paint company storage facility in Darke County this week.
The fire took place Wednesday on East Main Street in the village of Osgood, just before severe storms rolled through. Construction equipment was used to knock down walls as crews dealt with smoke and rain.
That is WHIO Sierra Lawson reporting. No information yet on what caused that fire. Iran's foreign minister is trying diplomacy with Europe after a week of bombardment by Israel.
This meeting in Geneva illustrates a stark transatlantic divide. While President Trump is supporting Israel's military assault on Iran, European governments are still trying to play their diplomatic cards. Iran's foreign minister meets his counterparts from the United Kingdom, France and Germany, even though the German Chancellor has thanked Israel for doing what he called the dirty work on behalf of the world. The 3 European countries are calling for restraint to prevent escalation. Iran is said by France to want a ceasefire and a new round of nuclear talks with the United States.
That response is Jonathan Savage reporting from London. President Trump signing an executive order giving TikTok a 90-day extension.
It is the 3rd extension granted by the president after Congress passed a law last year banning the app over national security concerns. That ban was supposed to take effect on January 19.
That is Fox's Jared Halpern. And the popular 7-person K-pop group BTS has completed South Korea's mandatory military service.
The rapper Suga is the last one slated to join his bandmates after fulfilling his duty as a social service agent. He reportedly chose social service due to a shoulder injury. The 6 remaining members have served in the Army. BTS is expected to reunite later this year.
That is WHIO's Will Taylor. Welcome back, Suga. WHIO News Time, 6:35.
I'm so happy.
Really excited.
The Daily Mail says new research from MIT reveals students who use AI tools like ChatGPT may experience memory problems and reduced brain activity. Scientists studied students over the course of 4 months and found that those who used ChatGPT had declined and had poor neural and linguistic skills. And A10 basketball on the horizon. We got the details you need to hear coming up in 3 minutes. WHIO News Time is 6:35.
It takes a lot of work and people to put on a live radio station. But being in the moment with us, live and local, is something you can't get anywhere else. WHIO, Dayton's News and Talk. Depend on it.
Hey there. We're My USA Credit Union. We're the simple, go all in, slightly quirky cooperative, can do place to bank. We're for those building toward the future, creating the life of your dreams. We'll always tell it to you straight and help guide you through each step of life's journey. When you join My USA, you've got a best financial friend for life. We're always rooting for you, like a best friend should. MyUSACU.com. This institution is not federally insured, but ASI insured and equal opportunity lender. Contact the credit union for complete details.
For Good News in Dayton, this is Brent Kress with Wagner Paving. Founded in 1933, Flego Huber Flego is an independent, certified public accounting advisory firm with offices in Dayton, Cincinnati, and Troy, Ohio. With 60 employees and over 30 CPAs on staff, they have the depth and breadth of experience to help your business thrive and your family to build and preserve wealth. Flego Huber Flego is excited to announce the completion of their new 6,400 square foot building at 1061 South Dorset Road in Troy, Ohio. This facility will allow Flego Huber Flego to continue to grow and expand in the Troy community and beyond. Flego provides tax, small business accounting, valuation, advisory, trust and estate planning, as well as employee benefit plan audit services. Flego Huber Flego is good news in Dayton.
Good News in Dayton is sponsored by Grunder Landscaping, Day Air Credit Union, and Wagner Paving. For more information, visit goodnewsindayton.com.
Midway Trailers is now Rodock. Same great family-owned company with the same great service and staff. You'll find a trailer and quality brand for every need. When you need to haul, give Rodock a call. Visit rodock.com. That's RODOC.com.
Harley-Davidson of Xenia is opening our hearts in our parking lot on July the 12th for an Adopt a Pit event. These sweet, loyal dogs are looking for a second chance, and maybe it's with you. Stop by, show some love, and help a pitty find their new forever home.
Good morning, Dayton. You're waking up with the information you need to start the day. Miami Valley's morning news continues on WHIO.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on Miami Valley's Morning News. I'm Brittany Otto. Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders cited in Northeast Ohio this week for driving over 100 miles per hour. 67 degrees now in Dayton at 6:37.
And we're looking at 23 minutes here or so ahead of 7 o'clock. I'm Jeremy Ratliff. A judge will decide whether to approve Purdue Pharma's multi-billion-dollar settlement over the opioid crisis.
A U.S. bankruptcy judge is set to decide whether to approve a $7.4 billion settlement from Purdue Pharma and its owners, the Sackler family. Nearly every U.S. state involved has agreed to the OxyContin maker's plan. If approved, it would settle thousands of lawsuits, avoiding trials, giving doctors, insurers, and other victims until the end of September to vote on whether to accept the deal.
Here's Fox's Kristen Goodwin reporting. Russia's economy minister says the country there is on the brink of a recession.
Their economy minister delivered the warning at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, an annual event designed to highlight the country's economic prowess and court foreign investors.
That is WHIO's Will Taylor reporting. Across the pond, the Bank of England has kept its main interest rate at the 2-year low of 4.25%.
This as fears grow that the conflict between Israel and Iran will escalate. The decision by the bank's 9-member Monetary Policy Committee was widely anticipated.
That is WHIO's Christine Bellino reporting. A good morning to everyone, but especially to local Pacers fans. The Pacers beating the Thunder 108-91 to even things up in the NBA Finals, which means there will be a Game 7.
There have been 19 Game 7s played in the NBA Finals, the last coming in 2016 when the Cavaliers beat the Warriors.
That is Fox's Joe Morgan reporting. Former Flyer Obi Toppin scoring at 20 points in that game last night. Well, the Atlantic 10 announcing its pairings for the upcoming men's basketball season.
Dayton Flyers will face Duquesne, George Washington, Loyola of Chicago, St. Louis, and VCU. UD played all of those schools twice last season, except for GW. They'll also host Davidson, Fordham, Rhode Island, and St. Bonaventure.
That is WHIO's Jason Michaels. Their road games will be at George Mason, LaSalle, Richmond, and St. Joseph's. The A-10 tournament will be in Pittsburgh, March the 11th through the 15th.
This is WHIO Continuing News.
And believe it or not, today marks the 50th anniversary of the release of the film Jaws.
It became a summer 1975 blockbuster and one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
He's circling the boat for
Want to go back in the water again? A big screen re-release of Jaws is set for August 29th.
That is Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Great movie, but I feel like Jaws isn't one that I like going back and watching over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't know. WHIO News Time 641.
And time to get your 5-day weather forecast. For that, we're going to check in with Storm Center 7 weather specialist Nick Dunn.
The Storm Center 7 forecast for your Friday calls for a good deal of sunshine, but we'll find a few passing clouds with highs in the middle 80s. Mostly sunny skies for Saturday and a high near 90 degrees. We're up to near 95 degrees on Sunday with a good deal of sunshine. We're near 95 again on Monday with lots of sunshine and no relief in sight from the heat. And for Tuesday, sunshine continues at a high near 95.
The live Doppler 7 radar is clear this morning. 63 in Tip City, 64 in Fairborn, 67 degrees at Dayton Severe Weather Station.
This traffic report is sponsored by Grismer Tire and Auto Service. Refresh your ride with brand new tires at unbeatable prices. Plus, buy 4 new tires and get 4 free oil changes, an additional $300 value. Make an appointment today at GrismerTire.com.
And here's Jake Magnotta.
Just recently was hearing reports of a crash in Fairborn on State Route 235 right near 675. Got the camera pulled up. Police and fire are here, and it does look like westbound State Route 235 is completely blocked. Eastbound traffic only has one lane open, so if you are heading westbound, you will need to find a different route to get on to 675. You can always come up to State Route 444 or down to Dayton Yellow Springs Road. With traffic every 10 minutes, I'm Jake Magnotta, WHIO Triple Team Traffic.
Well, United Press International says a live chicken recently caused a stir at a Buffalo Wild Wings in Des Moines, Iowa. Animal rescuers called to the restaurant to capture the confused hen. The Animal Rescue League of Iowa shared a photo of their feathered friend on social media, along with the caption, "What the cluck? Talk about a chicken on the wrong side of the road." And a new study looking into the long-term effects of the train derailment in East Palestine. We've got those details coming up in 2 minutes. WHIO News Time is 6:43.
Here at WHIO, we listened to what you want in a news and talk station. What you said is that it's important to report the news right down the middle and then let you decide what you think about it. It's not our job to convince you to think a certain way. It's our job to report the news, give you both sides, and be fair and honest. That's a promise we've made since 1935. We're honored you've chosen us as Dayton's news and talk station. 1290 and 95.7 WHIO. Depend on it.
For This Week in History, I'm Ron Otto. June 16th, 1978, the movie Grease premieres. June 16th, 2015, Donald Trump announces he's running for president.
And we are going to make our country great.
June 18th, 1815, British and Prussian forces defeat Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo. June 19th, 1865, Union General Gordon Granger announces slaves are free in Texas.
This is a Consumer Warrior Clark Howard Minute.
If you or a family member or friend ends up with a medical diagnosis, what do you do first? You want to be an informed patient, right? You want to know everything you can about what you've been tentatively diagnosed with. So you go to Dr. Google. You go do a Google search, and a lot of what you're going to find is going to be a bunch of junk. And I can tell you from my own experience, if you want to find the best information, you need to dig deep in reading the medical journals that doctors read. The New England Journal of Medicine, the Journal of the American Medical Association, the British journal Lancet. I found this to be so helpful to me when I was diagnosed with cancer 17 years ago. And what I found out changed the course of my treatment and my life.
Clark is WHIO's Consumer Warrior, and you can hear him during Miami Valley's Morning News on WHIO. Together with the resources of News Center 7, you're on Dayton's #1 news team. Now, back to Miami Valley's Morning News on WHIO.
Good morning. It is 6:45. It's Friday, June 20th. I'm Brittany Otto on Miami Valley's Morning News with the 3 big things that you need to know. The Indiana Pacers win last night, taking the NBA Finals to a Game 7. More rain joining other Miami Valley communities banning the sale of pot. And it's our top local story. The Dayton Air Show back this weekend, and for the 3rd year in a row, temperatures are expected to climb to over 90.
Yeah, Brittany, WHIO's Ron Otto continues our team coverage.
Organizers say start hydrating now and to wear lightweight, breathable clothing when you come to the event. There will be a Care Flight team on hand at the medical tent in case you don't feel well at the show.
And you're going to hear the term heat index used over the next several days.
But you may be wondering, how is that calculated? Well, essentially, we take the air temperature with the dew point, we combine that together, and there's a mathematical formula that helps us determine how that air feels to our bodies as we are outside.
That is Storm Center 7 weather specialist Nick Dunn. A local city extends its temporary ban on certain businesses by 9 months.
The Centerville City Council approved the plan on June 16th, extending its moratorium on new gas stations, discount and convenience stores. A city planner says it's meant to pause certain types of developments while the city advances their regulations.
That is WHIO's Ian James. The city enacted a year-long moratorium in July of last year. A Kentucky man accused of stealing a car with a 2-year-old inside is due back in court this morning.
Prosecutors say Adam Anderson punched a woman in the face, dragged her out of her car, and drove off with that car at Big Daddy's drive-thru June 5th. Cops eventually found Anderson and the car at Sammy's Market on Woodman, with the child unharmed in a car seat in the back.
That is WHIO's Ron Otto reporting. After more than 2 years since the train derailment in East Palestine, a new initiative will study the long-term health effects.
The Department of Health and Human Services started a $10 million study. People said that toxic air made them sick. For the next 5 years, researchers will study the health impacts.
That is News Center 7's James Brown. An appeals court is allowing President Trump to keep control of National Guard troops he deployed to Los Angeles following protest over immigration raids.
The decision halts a ruling from a lower court judge who found President Trump acted illegally by activating the soldiers over opposition from California's governor. The deployment was the first by a president of a state National Guard without the governor's permission since 1965. President Trump argued the troops were necessary to restore order, but California's governor said the move inflamed tensions and usurped local authority.
That is WHIO's Rich Jones reporting. Greenpeace has warned of a potential environmental disaster.
This after 2 oil tankers collided near the Strait of Hormuz. Giant tankers Adelan and Front Eagle crashed and caught fire in the Gulf of Oman Tuesday before the Emirati National Guard intervened to evacuate crew members.
That is WHIO's Christine Bellino. The team behind the film Inside Out have a new coming-of-age tale hitting the big screen.
Disney Pixar's Elio is about a kid with a big imagination and an even bigger obsession with outer space. When he's accidentally beamed up to the Communiverse, a cosmic council of aliens from every corner of the galaxy, he's mistaken for Earth's leader.
The most beautiful place I've ever seen. You'll be one of us. Leader of Earth. Huh?
Don't stop me. Now, he's got to charm a bunch of weird and wild life forms, face down a universe-sized mess, and figure out who he really is and where he truly belongs.
It sounds like the opposite of a boring film, by the way. It's Fox's Michelle Polino with a full recap of what's going on there. WHIO News Time, 6:49.
And we're going to get your weather forecast as we head into the weekend with Storm Center 7 weather specialist Nick Dunn.
The Storm Center 7 forecast for your Friday calls for a good deal of sunshine, just a few clouds mixed in this afternoon with highs topping out in the middle 80s. For Saturday, lots of sunshine and a high near 90 degrees. We're into the lower and even middle 90s for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday with lots of sunshine, and those feels like temperatures at times exceeding 100 degrees.
The live Doppler 7 radar is clear right now. It's 66 degrees in Eaton. It's 67 in Troy. 67 degrees at Dayton Severe Weather Station.
This traffic report is sponsored by Grismer Tire and Auto Service. Expert brake repair you can trust. Make sure you can stop when you need to the most. Get a little peace of mind by making an appointment today with your trusted brake repair experts at GrismerTire.com.
And we check in now with Jake Magnotta.
Police and fire still responding to this crash in Fairborn on State Route 235 near 675. Westbound State Route 235 is blocked because of this crash. Eastbound State Route 235, only one lane is open. If you are about to take eastbound State Route 235 to northbound 675, you can't use this ramp. You will have to come down to Dayton Yellow Springs Road or State Route 444. If you're westbound on State Route 235, you still have access to northbound 675. With traffic every 10 minutes, I'm Jake Magnotta, WHIO Triple Team Traffic.
Well, the Daily Mirror says singles are turning to dating apps like Tinder to find companions for weddings. The platform is offering to cover the cost of attire and transportation for selected matches. Tinder's new initiative is called the Plus One Fix. They'll contribute $200 to the cost of attending a wedding if a member meets their plus one on their app. And headed into the weekend, a lot of people may be taking a road trip. There might be some rude drivers out there. We're going to have the top 10 list of suspects coming up for you in 3 minutes. WHIO News Time 6:51.
A lot of weird stuff happens around here overnight. That's why we feature Dayton's only all-news morning show. Catch up and know what's going on every morning. Miami Valley's morning news is on WHIO. WHIO, Dayton's News and Talk. Depend on it.
Are you tired of dealing with the same health problems like headaches and back pain and still only utilizing a Band-Aid to cover up the symptoms? Then tune into Living the Full Life, where Dr. Juan explains how to get to the root cause of the problem and fix it. Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on WHIO Radio.
This is a Consumer Warrior Clark Howard Minute.
Okay, we all know homeowners insurance premiums have gone up, and away. And now I'm going to ask you to pay more on your homeowners insurance. I know what's wrong with me, because there's something that we're not doing. With home values having gone up so much over the last many years, the cost of construction, overwhelmingly, we're underinsured as homeowners. So I'd rather you do the trade-off where you raise the deductible on your homeowner's insurance and raise the coverage limits. It may help cancel each other out, but get you covered for a true disaster. In addition, do you have enough liability insurance on your homeowner's policy? Somebody gets hurt on your property? Most of us don't have enough coverage.
Clark is WHIO's Consumer Warrior, and you can hear him during Miami Valley's morning news on WHIO.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling in video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at ChangeTheGameOhio.org. That's ChangeTheGameOhio.org.
Some things you just have to experience live. Like spring meet at Churchill Downs, where amazing moments come a half mile a minute. Experience Downs After Dark, where night comes to life on May 17th and June 21st. Twilight Thursdays, where happy hour rides into the sunset through June 26th. And Family Adventure Day, where memories stack up on June 8th. This spring meet, the race exhilarates. So live in the moment and get your tickets today at ChurchillDowns.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar, the better tasting, more refreshing zero sugar cola. Listen to that endless pour. Pure refreshment. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. Oh yeah, so good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at Pocket.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us this Friday morning here on Miami Valley's Morning News. I'm Brittany Otto. The Golden State Valkyries have signed former Wayne High School standout and college national champion Bree Hall. The WNBA expansion club announced Wednesday night it had signed Hall, a rookie who spent 4 years at South Carolina, where she went to the Final Fours and won 2 national titles. 67 degrees right now in Dayton. It is 6:55. And we've got a top 10 list of the rudest drivers, according to a new survey by iSelect Insurance. Coming in at number 10, those who drive a Honda. 9, a Hyundai. 8 Toyota, 7 Lexus, 6 Volvo, 5 Jeep, 4 Ford, 3 Audis, 2 Mercedes-Benz, and coming in at the number 1 rudest driver are those that drive a BMW. So I'm joined by Jeremy Ratliff and Will Taylor.
Good morning.
Guys, is your car on this list?
No.
No?
No, safe.
All right.
Safe.
Well, so I have an exotic, everly increasingly rusty Ford F-150, 2012 Ford F-150. And so, yeah, I guess that's...
You're in the top 5, sir.
List. I don't think I'm that rude, though. Maybe a little. Just a little rude.
So, describe a little rude when it comes to driving.
I'm well past the, yelling and getting super mad at other drivers. I've totally chilled out on that, but at the same time, I still can get annoyed. I'm just careful on how I display that.
Okay. So you just
internalize better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. I am on the list. I'm not going to lie. I have a Toyota. I'm a little further down the list than you are, but I am on the list. And I will not lie. I have a bit of road rage issues, maybe. But I tend to just do a running commentary to myself, critiquing other people's driving skills. Mm-hmm. Maybe using some colorful language sometimes while I'm doing that. But I try to just talk to myself about it, or if there's another passenger in the vehicle, they may hear my feelings and thoughts about how other people are driving. So, Will, you may not be on the list, but are you a just really calm, non-rude driver, or do you feel like you actually should be on the list?
I don't know if No, I'm not rude. I'm a reactionary driver. So when you do something stupid or wrong, then I will react to that.
And how would you react?
It depends. I've started to not get so upset, and now I just smile and laugh at people.
Oh, so passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you ever get the real tall finger. Nothing makes them more angry than smiling and laughing at them.
Oh.
So that's a problem in itself. But
I should be taking notes here, I think.
Right. All right. Well, wherever you're going this morning, try to be polite and not rude. We are headed into the weekend, and, tempers do tend to flare when the heat rises, and that is going to be happening. We've got the details you need to know about the upcoming weekend in 2 minutes. WHI News Time 6:58.
Belmont Coin and Jewelry is looking to buy large estates and inheritances, any gold and silver coin collections, and gold and diamond jewelry and watches. Please see Belmont Coin and Jewelry today at 2749 Wilmington Pike in Kettering. Elevate your kitchen or bathroom with breathtaking countertops from Stone Center of Dayton. Explore our large indoor inventory of granite and quartz, and now featuring a large selection of quartzites. We're locally owned and operated and offer in-house design help. Visit us at stonecenterofdayton.com.
WHIO is the Miami Valley's local station, and here's what's happening at WHIO.com.
Mermaids are coming to the Newport Aquarium. You're able to dive into Mermaid Cove and watch as mermaids swim alongside tropical fish. You have the chance to win 2 tickets for this event. You can sign up now to win at WHIO.com. And the Dayton Air Show will be at the Dayton International Airport on June 21st and 22nd with their 50th celebration. The show will feature food and fun for fans of all ages. Register to win you and your family a 4-pack of tickets now at WHIO.com. And you have the chance to win a Dayton-made gift basket created by First Florist. It includes items from Esther Price Candy, Dots Pretzels, and even the Evening Edge with Todd Holst. I'm Sierra Lawson. Sign up now to win at WHIO.com.
WHIO.com, the Miami Valley's #1 news destination. This is the station Dayton turns to first for live team coverage of breaking news. WHIO Dayton Springfield, celebrating 90 years of being Dayton's news and talk station. Depend on it.
Good morning. It is 7 o'clock. It's Friday, June 20th. I'm Brittany Otto here on Miami Valley's Morning News with the 3 big things that you need to know. Some clouds mixed with sunshine, warming back up today. Highs climb to the middle 80s. A reported anti-Semitic attack on an Ohio congressman. And it is our top local story. Dangerously hot temperatures predicted for the Miami Valley in the coming days.
That's right, Brittany. And Storm Center 7 weather specialist Nick Dunn continues our team coverage.
Our hottest temperatures of the season are upon us here in the Miami Valley. We are talking about an extended stretch with afternoon high temperatures into the lower and middle 90s. Starting on Saturday, we'll find a high near 90 degrees. And then we're stuck in the lower to even middle 90s all the way through at least midweek next week. And there's no real sign of relief from the heat until Wednesday. That's our next best chance of a few showers and thunderstorms.
Yeah, the National Weather Service has already issued an extreme heat watch for much of the region Sunday afternoon through Tuesday evening. This is Americans in the eastern portion of the mainland U.S. are preparing for a heat wave that will bring scorching temperatures to the region. Fox Weather meteorologist Zach Green explains.
Sunday afternoon will really be the beginning of the excessive temperatures. 70s and 80s for overnight lows and a wall of humidity when you step outside. So AC, it is going to be cranking. And by the time we go into Monday, we are looking at record territory for nearly 30, possibly 50 different locations from the mid-Atlantic up into the Northeast. Monday afternoon seems to be the core of it, especially for those in New England. But from anywhere around New York City right down into the nation's capital, Tuesday and Wednesday is still going to be rather concerning as well.
Yeah, of course, we're going to continue to provide updated local weather reports for you in the hours and days ahead right here on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO.
As we round out the work week, our temperatures are pretty close to normal for this time of the year, but as we get into the weekend, our hottest temperatures of the year are upon us. I'm weather specialist Nick Dunn. My full forecast is coming up.
State Route 235 is blocked in both directions near 675 and Fairborn due to a recent crash. With traffic every 10 minutes, I'm Jake Magnotta, WHIO Triple Team Traffic.
This is Miami Valley's morning news on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO. I'm Brittany Otto.
And I'm Jeremy Ratliff. Well, Brittany, thousands remain without power in the Miami Valley after Wednesday's powerful storm.
As of 3:05 a.m., over 1,200 AES Ohio customers are currently without power, according to an outage map. AES Ohio said on social media yesterday that they expect full restoration by Saturday.
That is WHIO's Will Taylor. In Huber Heights, investigators say a car hit a police cruiser early yesterday morning.
This was on Brant Pike in Huber Heights. Investigators did not say whether anyone got hurt or got a ticket.
That is News Center 7's James Brown. One Miami Valley community says no to marijuana permanently.
Moraine City Council passed an ordinance banning the growing, processing, and selling of adult-use cannabis within the city limits. You can still use and possess the legal amount of 2.5 ounces in any form except extract.
That is WHIO's Ron Otto reporting for us. The ban goes into effect immediately. The NBA season will come down to one game.
There will be a Game 7 in the NBA Finals.
The magic carpet ride for the Pacers is not over. They'll play for an NBA title on Sunday night in Game 7.
Sound courtesy of ABC as the Pacers dominated the Thunder 108-91 Thursday night to even the series at 3 games apiece.
That's Fox's Joe Morgan. Former Flyer Obi Toppin scored 20 points in last night's game. President Trump says he's going to decide within 2 weeks on whether the U.S. military will get directly involved in the conflict between Israel and Iran.
President Trump sought to keep open the door to diplomacy on Tehran's nuclear program. Israel and Iran exchanged attacks for a 7th day yesterday, and Israel's defense minister threatened Iran's supreme leader after Iranian missiles damaged a hospital in southern Israel and hit residential buildings near Tel Aviv. At least 240 people were wounded.
That's WHIO's Rich Jones. And TikTok will be available in the U.S. for at least another 90 days as President Trump gives the ban deadline a third extension.
Trump signed the executive order Thursday morning to give his administration more time to broker a deal to bring the social media platform under American ownership. The White House says they are working to close that deal so that TikTok can be used with assurance that users' data is safe and secure.
That is WHIO's Ian James reporting. WHIO News Time, 7:05.
You've got a chance right now to win a pair of tickets to the I Want My 80s tours with Rick Springfield, who you hear right now, John Waite, and see the Beatles, Wang Chung, Paul Young. It's going to be Monday, June 23rd at the Rose Music Center. Those tickets going to go to caller number 3 right now at 937-457-1290. Good luck.
Nothing is more frustrating than sitting on 75 in traffic and not knowing what's going on. Your phone, not so helpful. That's why we're the home of Triple Team Traffic. Every 10 minutes, WHIO is Dayton's News and Talk. Depend on it.
Hey there. We're MyUSA Credit Union. We're the simple, go all in, slightly quirky cooperative, can do place to bank. We're for those building toward the future, creating the life of your dreams. We'll always tell it to you straight and help guide you through each step of life's journey. When you join MyUSA, you've got a best financial friend for life. We're always rooting for you, like a best friend should. MyUSACU.com. This institution is not federally insured, but ASI insured and equal opportunity lender. Contact the credit union for complete details.
For Good News in Dayton, this is Brent Kress with Wagner Paving. Founded in 1933, Flego Huber Flego is an independent, certified public accounting and advisory firm with offices in Dayton, Cincinnati, and Troy, Ohio. With 60 employees and over 30 CPAs on staff, they have the depth and breadth of experience to help your business thrive and your family to build and preserve wealth. Flego Huber Flego is excited to announce the completion of their new 6,400 square foot building at 1061 South Dorset Road in Troy, Ohio. This facility will allow Flego Huber Flego to continue to grow and expand in the Troy community and beyond. Flego provides tax, small business accounting, valuation, advisory, trust and estate planning, as well as employee benefit plan audit services. Flego Huber Flego is Good News in Dayton.
Good News in Dayton is sponsored by Grunder Landscaping, Day Air Credit Union, and Wagner Paving. For more information, visit goodnewsindayton.com.
With the economy shifting fast, there's never been a smarter time to protect your finances. At Xenia Coin Shop, we buy gold and silver bullion, fine jewelry, and both small and large coin collections with expert appraisals, fair offers, and top dollar payouts. Proudly serving Xenia and surrounding communities, we help turn today's uncertainty into opportunity. Visit us at 30 West 2nd Street in downtown Xenia or call 937-376-2807 today. Xenia Coin Shop, where integrity meets opportunity.
The area's only all-news and talk radio station. That means we're talking about what you're talking about. Miami Valley's morning news continues on WHIO.
Good morning, and thanks for listening to Miami Valley's Morning News. I'm Brittany Otto. A special congratulations to Jeff in New Carlisle. Jeff's won a pair of tickets to the I Want My 80s tour. It's going to be coming to the Rose Music Center June 23rd. 66 degrees right now in Dayton at 7:08.
Love it. 8 minutes after 7 o'clock. I'm Jeremy Ratliff. Well, we want to put out a reminder for base employees at Wright Pat. As you drive to work right now, some changes next week may affect your getting to work.
Gate 19B will be closed from June 23rd to September 29th, except for morning inbound traffic for a two-phase construction project. The base website indicates any outbound traffic during those hours should use Gate 1B off Springfield Street, open Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
That is WHIO's Jason Michaels reporting. Our Republicans float ways to find savings in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Fox's Ryan Schmelz takes us in depth from Washington.
Iowa Senator Joni Ernst floating a number of ideas on the Fox Business Network's Mornings with Maria. Among them are removing unemployment insurance for millionaires and selling unused federal office buildings.
We will save ongoing costs to the taxpayers.
Republicans are looking for ways to find more savings for the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. The Congressional Budget Office estimates the bill could add roughly $3 trillion to the deficit over 10 years.
Now, Republicans have disagreements over the cost of the bill and its potential impact on Medicaid. Well, in southern Mexico, authorities assessing damage and watching rising rivers as rain from the remnants of Hurricane Eric doused that region.
They reported landslides, blocked highways, downed power lines, and some flooding. At least one death was confirmed by late yesterday, a 1-year-old boy who drowned in a swollen river. Acapulco residents and remaining tourists emerged to walk outside or visit the few open businesses as the remnants of Hurricane Eric scraped by just inland of the resort.
That is WHIO's Rich Jones. Google faces a setback in its attempt to overturn a multi-billion-dollar European Union antitrust penalty involving Android.
This after a top court's legal advisor sided with regulators. The European Court of Justice's Advocate General recommended in a preliminary opinion that Google's appeal against the fine worth more than $4.7 billion should be dismissed.
That is WHIO's Will Taylor.
This is WHIO Continuing News.
And today marks the 50th anniversary of the release of the Oscar-winning film Jaws.
5 decades ago, 2 notes played on a tuba became shorthand for an apex predator in one of the most iconic movies of all time. Jaws, based on the 1974 bestseller by Peter Benchley, is the story of a great white shark that terrorizes a New England town.
That is Fox's Tony J. Powers reporting. WHIO News Time, 7:11.
And time for us to get your 5-day weather forecast. For that, we're going to check in with Storm Center 7 weather specialist Nick Dunn.
The Storm Center 7 forecast for your Friday calls for a good deal of sunshine, but we'll find a few passing clouds with highs in the middle 80s. Mostly sunny skies for Saturday and a high near 90 degrees. We're up to near 95 degrees on Sunday with a good deal of sunshine. We're near 95 again on Monday with lots of sunshine and no relief in sight from the heat. And for Tuesday, sunshine continues at a high near 95.
A clear scan of the live Doppler 7 radar. 63 in Sydney, 64 in Springfield, 66 degrees at Dayton Severe Weather Station.
This traffic report is sponsored by Grismer Tire and Auto Service. Refresh your ride with brand new tires at unbeatable prices. Plus, buy 4 new tires and get 4 free oil changes, an additional $300 value. Make an appointment today at GrismerTire.com.
And we check in now with Jake Magnotta.
Brittany, looks like this scene in Fairborn starting to clear up. This was a crash around 6:30, so for about 45 minutes, traffic's been affected on State Route 235 near 675. A tow truck is here. Looks like it is about to drive away, so if you're heading this way within the next 5 minutes, you should be okay. But northbound State Route 235 currently blocked. Southbound is open, but this is affecting us getting onto portions of 675. So northbound State Route 235 can't get onto southbound 675. And southbound 235 can't get onto 675 north, so you'll have to come up to State Route 444 or Dayton Yellow Springs Road instead. With traffic every 10 minutes, I'm Jake Magnotta, WHIO Triple Team Traffic.
Well, the Daily Gazette says Hormel is suing Johnsonville because they claim they stole their secret sausage recipes. The lawsuit says a former Hormel employee sent confidential info to his personal email before joining Johnsonville. Hormel seeking the return and deletion of the confidential data as well as unspecified monetary damages. And the Air Show is happening this weekend. We get a preview of what you can expect to see coming up in just 2 minutes. WHIO News Time is 7:13.
Here at WHIO, we've talked to a lot of folks recently, and the top concern you have is getting consumer information you need and want. You need to know the scams out there, how you can get ripped off, where to spend your money, and where to save money and make the most out of every dollar. That's why we're proud to have consumer warrior Clark Howard as part of the WHIO team. You'll hear his updates all day long. Clark Howard, only in Dayton on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO. Dayton's News and Talk. Depend on it.
Have you...
I'm Ron Otto with My Sports Rundown. My opinion on the big stories in sports. The Colorado Rockies recently swept the Miami Marlins on the road in a 3-game series. Now, that's a big deal because it was the Rockies' first series win since last year. They're on pace to surpass last year's Chicago White Sox, who passed the 61 Mets as the worst in the modern era, losing 121 games. But doesn't it seem like the bad teams now are worse than they've ever been? 3 teams lost at least 100 games in 2022. 4 teams lost 100-plus in 23, and we know about the notorious White Sox last year. But let's go back to 1996. Only 1 team lost 100 games, the Detroit Tigers, and no teams won 100. There are benefits to tanking for a season, or 10 if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates, but despite luxury taxes, compensatory draft picks, and revenue sharing, it looks like the gap between the haves and the have-nots in MLB is only getting bigger. I'm Ron Otto, and that's my Sports Rundown.
What is the WHIO Storm Center? It means when you hear these tones, you are just a few minutes away from emergency weather information. Weather is our #1 priority. The Storm Center 7 forecast is always on the radio. 1290 and 95.7 WHIO. And when News Center 7 is in wall-to-wall weather coverage mode, you'll always hear it simulcast on WHIO radio. That means you can take your radio to your safe spot and hear exactly what's happening with severe weather. When it comes to weather, we don't mess around.
I can't wait to meet her! Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Dayton's only all-local news radio station. The power of WHIO Radio and News Center 7 means you'll know first. This is Miami Valley's Morning News on WHIO.
Good morning. It's 7:15. I'm Brittany Otto here on Miami Valley's Morning News with the three big things that you need to know today. The Indiana Pacers win last night, taking the NBA Finals to a Game 7. More rain joining other Miami Valley communities banning the sale of pot. And it's our top local story today. Dangerously hot temperatures predicted for the Miami Valley in the coming days. We're going to have all the information that you need to hear coming up in our news at 7:30. But it's a big weekend in the Miami Valley with the CenterPoint Energy Dayton Air Show happening. Earlier this week, our Larry Hanskin got a preview of what you can expect this weekend.
From the Air Show, we're joined on our Newsmaker Live by Ken Kreitzer. And Ken, before we get into some of the specifics about what people need to know before they go, what's new at this year's Air Show?
You know, we really have something for everyone, and one of the things we're really excited about, we're going to have over 100 aircraft on static display this year, more than last year. We can't wait to welcome everybody, but a real exciting thing is we're going to have a B-29 Super Fortress, the dock as it's called. It's one of only 2 B-29s left flying in the world today. It will be flying at the show and also on static display. And keep your eyes to the sky this weekend because the Goodyear blimp is going to be in town and will be flying in the show and being part of our static display.
And also, in addition to the things that are new, the classic favorites. What are folks who've been fans of the Air Show in years past they're going to be able to revisit this time around?
You know, lots of military aircraft are flying and on display. Of course, the headliners, the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds, the U.S. Army Golden Knights, Red Bull Air Force. There's going to be a pyro demonstration as part of the show. Returning to the show this year is a wing walker, someone who I think they're just absolutely crazy. They're going to get out of a perfectly good airplane, walk on the wings. But, we also have MiG-17. In the past, we've had one at the show. This year, we have a 3-ship demonstration flying. The T-34 Association is coming in. Almost 100 displays on the ground. So we want folks to come early. As we heard from the weather just a moment ago, it's going to be warm this weekend. It wouldn't be an air show without warm weather, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And okay, so some real specifics as opposed, the folks are like getting there, parking, what they can bring, what they should not bring.
We made things a little bit easier last year where parking is now included in your tickets. You can get all that information at DaytonAirShow.com. Tickets are also on sale at Kroger's, discounted tickets there as well. Easiest way is right there at the website, DaytonAirShow.com. Parking's included now, so you don't have to stop and do a transaction as you're trying to get into the parking lot. We're ready for everybody to come in. We want you to hydrate before you come to the show. Planning to come to the show this weekend, it's going to be warm. So maybe have a couple extra glasses of water before you come to the show. Bring a water bottle. It has to be empty when you come through the gate, but we have water refill stations on the ground. We have lots of food and beverage. Bring your sunblock. Bring a nice big floppy hat. Come early. Gates open at 9 a.m. So the show will start flying around 11:15, but the show before the show is the key. That's come at 9 a.m., explore some of those aircraft. We have aircraft that you're going to get to walk through. We have virtual reality displays that are going to be set up. There's just so much to see and do. It's going to be hard to pack it all in one day, so plan to get there early. Be patient in traffic. That's another thing. If you come early, you beat some of the traffic. And plan to spend the day with us.
And again, the CenterPoint Energy Dayton Air Show happening this weekend here in the Miami Valley. And it is going to be a hot weekend. We're going to get a preview of your weather forecast here, your 5-day forecast from Storm Center 7 weather specialist Nick Dunn.
The Storm Center 7 forecast for your Friday calls for a good deal of sunshine, just a few clouds mixed in this afternoon with highs topping out in the middle 80s. For Saturday, lots of sunshine and a high near 90 degrees. We're into the lower and even middle 90s for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday with lots of sunshine, and those feels like temperatures at times exceeding 100 degrees.
The live Doppler 7 radar is clear right now. It's 64 in Troy, 65 in Springboro, 66 degrees at Dayton Severe Weather Station.
This traffic report is sponsored by Grismer Tire and Auto Service. Expert brake repair you can trust. Make sure you can stop when you need to the most. Get a little peace of mind by making an appointment today with your trusted brake repair experts at GrismerTire.com.
And here's Jake Magnotta.
Brittany, we had an issue in Fairborn for about 45 minutes. Just seconds ago, I saw everything clear up here. So the last what was here, police and a tow truck have left the scene, and State Route 235 completely back open. This was also affecting some ramps onto 675 north and south, but if you are heading this way, you don't need to take a different route anymore. With traffic every 10 minutes, I'm Jake Magnotta, WHIO Triple Team Traffic.
Well, Fox Business News says Mick Ultra has crafted expensive bottles of beer for the NBA champs. The bottles feature diamonds, a wearable pendant, and the same gold used to make the NBA championship trophy. Either the Pacers or the Thunder will down the beer after Game 7 on Sunday. And as you plan for your summer travel, we have information on some cities you may want to avoid. That's in our in-depth impact story in 2 minutes. WHI News Time is 7:22.
I know it's scary to hear someone tell you to get in your safe spot during a storm. But aren't you glad we're here to say it? Live Storm Center 7 coverage during any weather situation. WHIO, Dayton's News and Talk. Depend on it.
For This Week in History, I'm Ron Otto. June 16th, 1978, the movie Grease premieres.